I tested every push-up variation over the last 10 years to build my current physique and strength level. Today we're gonna be ranking all of them from the worst to the best, so you know which ones actually worked and which ones didn't. Let's get right into it. All right, so right off rip, we're starting with the push-up. It's pretty much the exercise that actually got me into working out in general. It's probably one of the first exercises you've ever tried as well, and even to this day, the top athletes around the world are still using the push-up on a daily and even weekly basis. That's because this exercise really is legit for building strength, muscle, and your physique. I would have put this all the way up at S, but you know what? We're gonna start off putting this at A. The only reason why I'm gonna put it in A instead of S is because it can still be optimized and there are levels to the push-up. Let's keep it moving. All right, next up we have Superman push-ups. This is a great exercise for improving your explosive strength, but at the same time, if we're focusing on our pushing specifically and the pushing muscle groups, you're using a lot of other muscle groups and a lot of other components to this movement as well to execute it. For example, half the exercise is coming from your legs. And if you were doing this just for the explosive benefits, well, you could just be doing explosive push-ups. You'll be able to add in more reps, be able to compound more on the intended muscle groups and the intended motion. To be honest, over a decade of training body weight and push-ups, I've never even had to do these to progress. So I'm gonna put this down to D. Although they're very fun, they burn a lot of calories as well, they're just not that necessary and not optimized. All right, next we have fingertip push-ups. This is a great exercise, especially for building like insane wrist and grip strength. But again, this is also a very specific thing. If you're training for something specifically in grip, this is gonna be OP. Especially if you have the mentality where you're only as strong as your weakest link, well then you're definitely gonna need to train your fingers, grip, and wrist. And fingertip push-ups, that's like one of the best ways to do that. Now, who would actually need that? Well, rock climbers, people that are lifting really heavy weight, if you wanted to do planche on your fingertips or something like that. Very cool skills to have, and it definitely will translate into other physical activities that you do, but it is more niche. Now, I would put this at B, just under push-ups, because technically you could just do a ton of push-ups and get more volume out of it, but the new strength and skill that you'll unlock just by simply doing these, it's worth being at least right next to push-ups. All right, moving on. Next we have scapula push-ups. Man, these look ridiculously easy. It seems like you're not even gonna be gaining anything from doing this exercise. Guess what? I'll put this exercise probably at A or S tier. If you wanna unlock your true potential and insane pushing power, you need to pair these scapula push-ups with actual push-ups or any other more advanced variation like weighted push-ups. I only started doing these later on in my fitness journey, and I wish I would have started from the very beginning. Planche push-ups get way easier. Literally every pushing exercise gets easier. Try this. This is an insane hack. Now, the only reason why I'm not gonna put this super high at S tier is because it still can be optimized. To be honest, the best way to do these is with some more weight, whether you're using a weighted vest or a resistance band. You can get those at Thenx.com. So technically, it can go right under the average push-up. All right, next up, we have the knuckle push-ups. Let's break this down for a second. What are we actually training here? We have the push-up component, we already know that's OP, and then we have the knuckle component to it. So are there much benefits by doing this on your knuckles? Well, you're improving your wrist strength and you're improving the endurance of your knuckles. If you're a fighter or something like that, that's definitely gonna come in handy, especially when it comes to punching and not rolling your wrist or being able to do more damage with your knuckles. But if you're the average fitness guy or just trying to optimize your pushing strength or your pushing muscles, this may not be as beneficial to the average person. And if you were really concerned about the wrist strength, well, you could be doing fingertip push-ups, which are gonna get your wrists and hands even stronger. And that's gonna allow you to also have a more focused rep on the intentional muscle groups and the intentional goal. So I'm gonna put the knuckle push-ups as B rank. All right, next up we have pseudo planche push-ups. This was an absolute game changer for me in my entire fitness journey. When I started incorporating these, specifically, I was doing 100 a day at one point. This was a pivoting point in my fitness journey. And that's when I went from okay to actually being good at this stuff. The goal to this exercise is to do a push-up, but pushing from your waistline, and this makes it tremendously harder, and it adds way more force and resistance onto your push-up. This is also one of the first main pushing exercises that you're gonna do to unlock the planche push-up, which is like the holy grail of pushing exercises. And even once you're already able to do planche push-ups, you'll still be doing the pseudo planche push-up to maintain your strength and even continue to build your strength. So this exercise is gonna be our first S tier, because again, I'll still be doing this exercise no matter how strong I get. And with exercises like the next one coming up, push up to 90-degree hold. Again, this is such a solid exercise for your pushing strength and also blowing up your chest. It's a strong, tight contraction on your chest as well as your triceps. And again, another gateway exercise that you can start from pretty early on to unlocking superhuman pushing strength. And to be honest, when I'm holding this exercise, the tension and contraction you feel in your chest and even your arms is way more than when you're benching. Just try it for yourself. which is why I literally don't need to bench anymore. And remember, all of these exercises are always scalable. You can always add more resistance, whether using a resistance band or a weight vest, or if they're too difficult, you can alleviate some weight with assistance of a resistance band. And again, the fact that I still use this exercise to this day to create a progressive overload, I'm gonna say that's top tier right there. I'm gonna drop it on an S. All right, moving on, we got elevated push-up. To be honest, I think this is a fantastic move. For a complete beginner, this would 100% be an S tier exercise. Why? Because it's the most OP exercise that you can do if you can't yet do a push-up, and it's gonna directly translate and improve your push-up capabilities. It's like doing a literal push-up and just taking body weight off of you, and it's scalable. The lower the elevation, the more body weight you're putting back onto this exercise until you're able to just do it on the floor. In fact, that's how my son was able to do 100 push-ups a day. At the very beginning, obviously he was really young, he could barely do any push-ups at all. So we started on 10 sets of 10 elevated push-ups to hit 100 every day, and eventually he was able to do some lower, so he would max out the lower ones and then go back onto the elevated surface until he was able to transfer all of them onto the floor. Also, even at a higher fitness and strength level, you can still optimize with this exercise by working past the point of fatigue, using this progression as a drop set to continue hitting more reps when you're too tired to move on. This is gonna create hypertrophy and create way more strength. For a lot of you, this is probably gonna be an A. For me personally, I'll bring it down to a B, just from the fitness level that I'm currently at right now. All right, moving on, we have the knee push-ups. Now this exercise is like the opposite of what I said before. It's a progression that you can use to build your strength to eventually unlock your first real push-up. But I actually advise against this exercise. I really don't like this exercise anymore at all, simply because of the opposing facts that I said before about the elevated push-up. Not only do they take the same amount of effort to do, but with the knee push-up, you're lacking all the form cues, the movement path, the trajectory that you would actually need for the real push-up. So the whole time you're trying to gain strength to do your push-up, but you're losing a lot of the components and technique that come with it. And that's why I'm gonna put these at D, to be honest. All right, next up, we have the decline push-up. This is a great push-up variation. It's just like your average push-up, but your feet are elevated. So this is gonna emphasize even more on your upper chest area by creating more resistance with your elevated body angle. Now, breaking down this exercise, you're getting all the benefits from the average push-up. It's gonna take about the same effort to do as an average push-up, but an extra benefit, you're hitting an area of your chest that you don't often due to the angle. And remember, to gain the most out of a muscle group, you're gonna need to train all the heads or areas. I would say this is gonna go right next to push-ups with an A rank. All right, next up we have elevated diamond squeeze. Again, another underrated exercise. I've been doing this one for like 10 years. It's been the absolute best exercise to work the split of my chest as well as the upper area of my chest. Now look how specific this squeeze and this movement path is. There's not many exercises where you're gonna get to be in this position. And because it's elevated and specific to this area, it's a great exercise to drop set with any other pushing exercise as well. So this exercise should be at least A, but you know what? I'll bring it down to a B because it's less resistance than the average push-up. All right, now we have the holy grail of all pushing exercises, the planche push-up. So many people train their asses off to try to achieve this exercise for years and years and still can't do it. So there is a big level to entry, which can deter a lot of people, but once you're able to do it, again, your fitness level completely transcends to a whole nother level. And if all you did was just one full planche push-up a day, that would still mean that you're maintaining a certain level of fitness and physique. Imagine you cannot do a single planche push-up if you're not on a certain fitness level or even a certain body physique. Imagine how many overweight people have you ever even seen do a planche push-up? Automatically S tier, there's no debate about it. And of course, this could be scaled as well with the resistance band if you're not strong enough to do it, or resistance if you're too strong, or use a Thenx weight vest. All right, next up we have explosive push-ups. And I feel like I'm giving all these exercises very high ratings, but you know, a lot of these push-up variations really are on that level. If you've never trained these before, you really just don't understand the explosive strength, endurance, and all the other benefits that come from doing some of these exercises. This is probably one of the best push-up variations that you can do, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, where you can see instant progress and results right after doing them. You see the Superman push-up, spread out that explosive power through the rest of your body, your legs, and this and that. Explosive push-ups, this actually concentrates that explosive power into your specifically intended muscle groups and goal. And give it a shot for yourself. Try doing only explosive push-ups for like a week straight, then go back to normal push-ups and you're gonna see how easy it's gonna be. You're gonna have to do explosive push-ups just to feel the same pump. So for explosive push-ups, really it should be like A+++, but since there's no ranking for that, let's just leave it at an A. All right, next up we got the deep push-up. Again, this is a great exercise. You're getting the same exact benefits from the average push-up, but because you're going even deeper, you're giving way more range of motion. That's gonna build more strength and muscle. Simply just that extra component alone makes it very worth it. Now, you may be able to add more volume just doing the average push-ups, but sometimes it's better to cut back on your volume and increase the intensity, increasing your range of motion a bit more to make some more gains. And the deep push-up is definitely gonna be an exception for that, but you can work them both strategically, increasing your intensity and increasing volume. Both of those things are absolutely necessary to progress. So with that said, if the push-ups are an A, this one definitely has to be an A as well. Okay, next up we have diamond push-ups. Again, one of the first exercises that really took my pushing to a whole nother level from a beginner's perspective. And still, I use the diamond push-ups to this day, especially when I'm trying to really emphasize on my pushing for my triceps. This exercise is just as good as push-ups, if not better in some cases, specifically for your triceps. So again, this is gonna be at A as well. It looks like all these exercises are getting an A rank. We still don't have anything for C rank yet, and we only have like 5 exercises left. Next up, we have the wide push-up. I do like this exercise. You have a wide range, so you're hitting the different areas of your chest, but because your arms are so wide, you're actually reducing the amount of range of motion that you're using in your arms. And in a way, this will reduce the benefits of the push-up a little bit. Now, what I do like about this exercise is you're working your serratus anterior. You have to push your arms straight to be able to hold this wide push-up position, and you're also keeping your arms locked out and straight as well, which can be needed for more niche pushing exercises like the full planche hold, full planche push-ups, archer push-ups, and so forth. So for this exercise, it's good as a variation, but definitely not one of the best push-up variations. I'll bring this down to a C, to be honest. I still use it, but I do not use it that often. Now, if the wide push-ups were elevated on the other hand, and if they had extra weight, this would definitely be a higher ranking for sure. You're increasing that range of motion and you're really getting that stretch in your chest. Now, next up, we have the archer push-up. This is what I was talking about, being able to gain that straight arm strength from another variation. And this one's actually better for straight arm strength, in my opinion, than the wide push-up, because you have to keep that opposing arm locked out the whole time, from the whole range of motion, from the top to the bottom. And believe it or not, you're not just holding your arm there, but you're still pushing with that arm, although it is straight. Now, what other benefits are coming from an archer push-up? By pushing with one arm straight and one arm bent, you're emphasizing more on one chest and one arm to push the majority of your body weight. This is gonna greatly strengthen each side individually, as well as cure and strengthen any imbalances that you may have. And not only will that reduce injury, but it'll improve your performance, your capabilities, and your physique as well. And when it comes to bodyweight exercises, it's a great way to start increasing the overload when you're not using any equipment. So this one, I'm gonna give it, again, at least an A. And another reason why it should be something higher like A instead of B or C is because you're emphasizing on each side individually. Look at the list. You're not really doing that with any other exercise. All right, so next up we have pelican push-ups. This is like the ultimate pushing variation besides the planche push-up, simply because it has the longest range of motion. You're going all the way up completely to all the way down to a hanging position with your arms behind your back. Literally, you cannot add more range of motion than this exercise. And that's why this exercise should be S tier. This move is basically like a pseudo planche push-up and a deep push-up, except it goes way deeper. All the way to the bottom, in fact, literally engaging your back and your biceps as well, along with your chest and triceps all in one rep. Now, another barrier to entry for this exercise is that it's super hard to do, but there are ways around this. You can use a resistance band to alleviate a lot of your weight that we mentioned before, so that you're light enough to perform this exercise. But again, it's not as simple as just dropping down on the floor and doing some push-ups or any of these other variations, which you really don't need a setup or any equipment for that matter. So you do make S tier gains from this exercise. I highly recommend it, but I will bring it all the way down to a B, simply because it does take quite a bit of a setup, and that can kill your motivation to even do this exercise. All right, next up we have single leg push-ups. It's basically a push-up, but you're doing it on one foot because your other foot is on top of the opposing foot on the floor. Now let's break down this exercise. Specifically, the benefits is the exact same as a push-up, but you'll be emphasizing more on one side of your core as well as your chest and your arms. Now, if you really wanted to optimize this exercise, you would take that other foot and you would have it straight in the air. This is gonna add even more resistance and force to your exercise while recruiting a lot more stabilizer muscles, getting way more bang for your buck for each rep. Although you may not be able to do as many reps than if your foot was just on top of the other one. It's just gonna be a lot more easier, and that's the trade-off. You'll need to figure out if you need more intensity or more volume in that specific period of your fitness journey to move on. With all that said, I would put it right next to push-ups because it's basically the same thing, to be honest. All right, down to the last exercise, the one arm push-up. You know, I used to think this exercise was quite of a gimmick when I first kind of got started, but the more I just decided to give it a chance and started actually incorporating it into my fitness regimen, the more I realized like, oh, okay, this move is actually OP. I was gonna say underrated, but it's not. Everyone thinks this move is the best. There is some credibility to that for sure. And imagine when you can do the same amount of reps of what someone can do with 2 arms with 1 arm. You're literally double as strong on one side than the average person. And the only way you can do that is to literally increase the overload on one side. That's with 1-arm push-ups, or using a progression in between to get there, like the archer push-ups or the assisted 1-arm push-up. And imagine if push-ups alone with 2 hands can build an insane physique, insane chest, insane triceps, arms, and pushing strength, even your shoulders and your core. Imagine what you're gonna gain from doing it with just 1 arm. You're literally gonna double the benefits on both sides and make some life-changing results. And again, just like the planche push-up, if you can do a quality set of 1-arm push-ups, you will always maintain a certain fitness level that would technically stop you from ever regressing. And at the end of the day, the strength and the benefits you're gonna get specifically from doing this exercise is extremely transferable. So you already know. This is going to S tier. That's about it. Those are all the exercises. Of course, there are some more pushing variations. If you want me to go over even more push-up variations or other exercises like pull-ups, muscle-ups, and so forth, maybe other muscle groups like back or shoulders, I also did an ab one, check that one out. Just leave a comment down below what you want the next ranking video to be about. I'll definitely get it covered so you can know which ones actually worked for me over the past decade and which ones didn't. And like I said, I've been doing this over a decade, specializing in calisthenics, bodyweight training. And if you want to do the same to build the ultimate physique, all you got to do is download the Thenx app in the App Store or Google Play Store for free right now. You'll get access to all my workout programs and technique guides teaching you the most advanced skills like the full planche, human flag, muscle up, and so much more. And also share this video with a friend right now that needs to know what the best push-up variations are so that they also stop wasting their time. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button right now, bell notifications on so that you never miss out on a video. I post videos just like this every Monday, 10 a.m. USA Eastern time. So I'll see you next Monday at 10 a.m. with a brand new video. But in the meantime, check out this other video where I rank the best ab exercises so you can get your 6-pack abs right now. Check it out. Mad love. Peace out, baby.